Welcome. Today at the Produce Moms, I have the pleasure of being joined by Mollie Van Lieu. She's the Senior Director of Nutrition Policy at United Fresh Produce Association. And oh my goodness, Mollie, it's been a big day in the United States, a big week as it relates to nutrition policy. We're talking about, obviously, the Buy Fresh program, which is the Coronavirus Farm Assistance Program, multi-billion-dollar fund that is going to mitigate food loss as well as mobilize food to the food insecure. Unfortunately, amidst this pandemic, the amount of households that are needing that support as it relates to food security, that number is going up. We're seeing that as unemployment numbers rise. So often also enrollment in programs like SNAP, WIC, etc., the need for more community resources like food pantries. It's all very circular.
And this program is really, you hit the nail on the head, it's designed to meet that. We're using farmer agricultural products, fresh fruits and vegetables, utilizing the full sector of the supply chain, the food service distributors that have been devastated by what's happened over the last 6 weeks or so, utilize their capabilities and get fresh produce to those who need it most. And we're seeing with the food banks and the food pantries and those nonprofit emergency feeding sites that their demand, as you said, has just gone through the roof, but they are having challenges with having adequate number of volunteers because of the social distancing measures and just the volume of food. We really have this opportunity here to utilize the packing and distribution that our supply chain is so good at and immediately making that available. Food service distributor will pack up a pre-packed mix of fresh fruits and vegetables, deliver that directly to the emergency feeding sites. In some cases, it might go from the refrigerated truck to the trunk of someone's car. Those logistics will be worked out on a local basis on what works for everybody, but it's really utilizing the things that the fresh produce industry is great at, and it's $100 million a month.
So it's $100 million a month of funding for up to, right now, it's 6 months, correct?
Yep, so they've outlined that they're looking at this about $100 million a month for 6 months. That being said, $100 million was what they thought AMS or USDA with the contracting get off the ground relatively quickly. If this goes really well in the first month, they certainly can up that in the coming months. So we're really hoping that the industry rallies around this and puts forth a lot of great proposals and shows that there's a need and there's a capability to do this type of thing.
So you've mentioned a couple things. First, these individualized market boxes, essentially, of fresh fruits and vegetables that the wholesale distributors will be packaging up to literally give to the individual recipients at the community center or food bank or wherever this program is deployed within the community. Mm-hmm. That is already happening. That infrastructure now exists because our wholesale distributors stepped into that direct-to-consumer sales supply chain. They shifted, they pivoted amidst the COVID-19 food service closures throughout the United States. I'm really invigorated by this news for that wholesale distribution stage. They have been just absolutely devastated with all of the closures associated with this pandemic. And then the other thing that I would like to call out is the timeline, because you mentioned the proposals process. I know from participating in some press briefings today, this is right around the corner. We're getting started in a matter of days here. So can you walk us through the timeline, Mollie?
Yeah, so the estimates that USDA put out is they're going to have an RFP available to fill out on April 24th, be due May 1st. They'll issue awards May 8th, and they're hoping to have food out the door on May 15th. So these will be regional awards. Folks can apply across multiple USDA regions, part of USDA regions. So it's really customizable, but you need to move really quickly with this.
A couple things too that I think are very important. This program is going to prioritize certain commodities, but it's also going to require that those commodities are grown in the United States. Talk a little bit more about that, please.
That's a requirement that USDA has. It's law that USDA can only buy domestically produced fruits and vegetables or any agricultural product. So this will only be domestic product. And there are other programs like the school lunch program. Folks that serve the school lunch program know that there's a little bit of flexibility in those types of programs where if it's not domestically produced and available, schools can purchase that. So that doesn't apply in this specific program, but these will be domestically produced products, fresh fruits and vegetables, and that they are prioritizing certain fruits and vegetables, one based on what they're hearing food banks want and need, and also also, I believe they're trying to target certain commodities that have been hit particularly hard during this crisis.
During the press briefing, berries were mentioned. Berries have been hit hard by this. 5-pound mixed bags of fruit, I think that makes sense. Carrots, onions, cucumbers, those were all of the commodities that I wrote down in my notes.
I think lettuce and tomatoes, and that's not all inclusive. So the RFP will list other ones, and it can be anything, but those are the ones that they are trying to highlight.
Good to hear that mindfulness of the way our industry has been disrupted is being taken into consideration.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate your time, Mollie. This has been really informative for everyone. Do you feel like there's any closing thoughts that you want to leave with our viewers today?
I think we really see this as a great opportunity. When this first happened 6 weeks ago, we went to USDA and said, hey, we have this amazing supply chain that folks don't really think about. And consumers are certainly understanding now that they're going and buying fruits and vegetables in a similar manner from wholesale distributors that they probably didn't even know existed 7 weeks ago. And we're really grateful that USDA took this step and is utilizing this. And we really hope that through this program, we can prove that fresh fruits and vegetables can be part of these federal feeding programs and continue it, well beyond the crisis that we're in.